Hello, folks. Welcome, welcome. Apologies for the slight delay. Yeah, Alex says should have flown Air France La Première on the way home from the Airbus factory. Yeah, should have, except I was in a real rush to get back on the Monday, so took the direct from Toulouse to Montreal, which was nice. To be honest, that flight was really nice and easy. It was a daytime flight based on Toulouse time, but I still managed a good couple of hours of sleep in there, which was fun, which was, I guess, restful. Yeah, unfortunately, no La Premiere for me. I did choose, however, the milk run to get there. So along with, I don't know if they're, no, let's see who else, somebody else joining in. Jason and Kevin were on the same flights as me. And eventually we were joined by Aman on the last leg. But we were doing the milk run. And the milk run was basically Montreal on Swiss A330, so nothing fancy, Swiss to Zurich. Zurich to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Toulouse. Uh, yeah, Kevin's here. Oh, perfect. Sorry, Kevin, didn't realize earlier that was you. Yeah, it was tiring but fun. 100%. I was looking at how many steps we did, Kevin. My app was showing for that just the one day, we were close to 20,000 steps. 20, 21,000, something like that. So yeah, definitely a tiring day because tiring but fruitful because we took the opportunity. So we had a 5 hour layover in Zurich. So we decided we'll escape the airport, even though it was at 7 in the morning or earlier, 6 in the morning. So yeah, we went into the city, walked around the canal, did a short little walk, had a coffee and a snack, and basically came back. So yeah, made good use of our 5 hours there. And then the next stopover was Frankfurt. We escaped the airport there as well. And we didn't get far there. We basically took the train to the main train station and walked out a little bit, then realized the neighborhood was really rough, or at least seemed pretty blah. Um, we turned back and then instead sat at the train station uh, at a bar and had some beers. Um, was it a beer hall? I don't. It was a beer hall concept, but yeah, sat in a beer hall and basically had a couple of pints, and that was that. And then headed back to the airport to catch our final leg to Toulouse. And by the time we hit up Toulouse in the evening, we had a group dinner involved as well. So we, yeah, it took us a solid 24 hours to get from Montreal or from Canada into Toulouse, just because of the milk run. But like Kevin said, it was tiring but fun. Yeah, Kevin says 20,000 steps. Yeah, it was brisk pace too. Yeah, for sure. We weren't mucking around. We just kept moving, which was good because had I stayed back, and I totally, I must confess, I really didn't think that I'd be going out of the airport, at least not in both the cities. But thanks to Kevin and Jason in particular, who was super keen on getting out to Zurich um, and putting the pin on his have been to kind of destination. So yeah, we did. I'm glad we did because had I been at the in the arrivals lounge or in the lounge, I would have either showered and slept or slept and showered in that order before the next flight. But going into town, coming back in, showering, changing, and then running into the next flight was a much better use of our time, I suppose. And it was fun. It sort of kicked off a great weekend in the best way possible. And the Zurich walk was really nice too. We were able to, because it was super early in the day, it wasn't crowded. It was pretty quiet as we made our way sort of into the older part of town. Got to see a nice little market on our way back too, which was nice, and to see the local market sort of thriving and a lot. I mean, we must have probably walked maybe 5 kilometers, 7 kilometers. And in that, uh, probably ran into 5 or 6 setups that were basically getting ready for their Christmas markets. I've always heard of, Frankfurt or Munich for Christmas markets. I've never thought of or heard of people going to Zurich, but that makes total sense. So if you were big into your Christmas market travels, put Zurich on your map because that town looked really set up for its Christmas fun. Yeah, nice 15 degrees as well. Yeah, which made for perfect walking weather. 100%. How did we get here? Oh yeah, we were talking about La Premiere. So no La Premiere for me. Maybe I could just rant a little bit about how shitty the Swiss experience was. The A380 out of Montreal going into Zurich has just become such a tired, hard product. I kind of was reminded why I don't rate Swiss A330 at all in my books. First things first, I mean, just it's one thing to constantly tell myself that, oh, European carriers keep their cabins warm, but oh boy, was it ever hot in that cabin throughout the ride. I mean, at the first little bit before takeoff, it was just boiling in there. Everybody from the purser to all the staff to everybody was just complaining, fanning themselves with the menu card and whatnot until air conditioning kicked on. And even then, I think it must have been about 24 degrees warm in the cabin throughout the night, which didn't make for easy sleep either when I wanted to. And besides the cabin temperature, just that A330, regardless, I mean, throne seats may be the only ones that have a bit of privacy, but the seats are just not wide enough. It's sort of really old school business class seats, and I wasn't in the throne seat. Neither were Jason and Kevin, and all of our seats were sort of fairly open and exposed to sort of, for lack of a better term, elements of the cabin. Um, and yeah, just my broad shoulders do not fit into those seats anyway. So, sideways or otherwise, it was just a miserable time spent in that cabin. Uh, yeah, so be warned. You might find cheaper. And the only reason all of us were doing, or the three of us were at least doing this milk run was because we were able to book this for like 70,000 points, Aeroplan points. And we were able to book this a couple of months in advance of the trip, which was great value. But while I was in the cabin, I was like, you know what? I would have rather spent 100, 125,000 one way if I had to, just for a better hard product. Don't get me wrong. Outside of that hard product, everything else was pretty polished and nice. The food was good. The service was nice, but nothing to talk home about. It's just absolutely just bare bones minimum. And I know people, and I'm pausing because I was just about to say it's basically like what Air India is, but I understand it's not as bad as Air India can be. But oi, it's just no, not for me. Definitely not for me. And hot take, I will not be booking A330 again unless I just absolutely have to, and there's zero options available to me. Um, yeah, it's just oh, Alex says blame Lufthansa Group for the rollout of the Allegris. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the A350 flies out of Toronto. Am I wrong? Or is it just the A330 that does Toronto as well? Or is there nothing out of Toronto for Swiss? I think the A350 does. Or maybe it was Boston that I'm thinking of. But there's a few A350s. I haven't flown Swiss A350s. It'd be interesting to see sort of what comes, the senses, right? The new cabin. Yeah, all of that. The rollout is super slow. Rollout of Allegris is slow on Lufthansa. Rollout of senses, or I think that's what they are called. The new business class. Can somebody double check? I think the new business class on Swiss is called senses or something like that. Is all super delayed. So we just wait and see what goes. Um, Yeah, Alex, you could be right. Alex says, I thought for Swiss we only get the 330 out of Toronto and Montreal, and Lufthansa did have the Allegris initially to do their testing, but I don't remember uh, if it's still coming to Canada. Yeah, Lufthansa is still coming to Canada. I mean, Vancouver and Toronto continue to be on that. Yeah, Kevin, thanks for confirming. It is called Census, Swiss Census is the A350. Yeah, I hope we get the A350 soon because this 330 is just such a tired product. If I was going economy, I may as well just go Swiss, I suppose. But having just done it, it was a rough ride. I mean, in context, it was a rough ride, right? I was still in business class, still comfortable, comfy enough, but I just don't deal with like a warm, hot cabin at all. I'll give you it. I kind of tried to sleep in the typical coffin position because that's the only position I could fit myself in without moving at all. Just tucked my shoulders in and I was sleeping up straight. At some point after a couple of hours, I got up with a damp pillow and the back of my neck was damp. And I thought, oh no, maybe, water fell or something happened. And then realized, oh no, it was me. I was sweating. The back of my neck was sweating, sweat on the pillow, and the pillow was nice and damp. It was just, ugh, yuck. So, yeah, that was the basically one word experience on the A330. Ugh, yuck. So that's that. Uh, and then the rest of the weekend was nice. Once we, like I said, Zurich onwards, it was really nice because I was super impressed by intra-Europe. Intra-Europe flights were both Lufthansa from Zurich to Frankfurt and Lufthansa from Frankfurt onwards to Toulouse. And both times I was lucky that even in that intra-Europe Europe business class configuration, I had both seats next to me, which were empty. Not that that would be a big thing because the middle seat is blocked out enough, so that's as much space as you get in those. But the soft service was really, really strong. Cabin was nice and cool. Food was great. In fact, we got served a full meal in both of our flights. The first flight was only an hour and a half, or maybe just an hour, and the second one from Frankfurt to Toulouse was an hour and a half. And in both of those flights, we were served a full tray of meal. The meal looked fantastic. I will, can I? Yeah, basically the food was good. And Kevin says, yeah, Lufthansa food was great, intra-Europe too, for sure. And yeah, really impressed with that part of it. Nothing crazy in the hard product itself, just the typical what you would expect, middle seat blocked out. But it made for a great flight and got some snooze time in both of those flights, and a nice little meal on both. Although I did skip on that second leg from Frankfurt to Toulouse. I skipped my meal and I just opted to sleep. But the first leg was a fantastic meal, and I asked Jason to share his picture from that second leg, intra Europe second leg, so that I could share it when I did the review for the intra Europe business class on Lufthansa. So I'll share it hopefully soon. I'll write about it. But yeah, super impressed with Lufthansa's intra Europe service. And Toulouse was awesome. If you have, I mean, I did share, if you didn't get to check out the stories, Instagram stories that I put out from the weekend in Toulouse, I will be sharing a few more in pictures on Facebook as well. So you'll be able to see it then. But yeah, fantastic weekend. Great. I mean, once you get a group like that out there, the programming itself becomes secondary. It was just the constant hanging out from early in the morning to late at night and beyond. Group dinners, group lunches, and all of that was just fantastic. Yeah, basically, really, really good weekend. Den Den B's changed his name from Den B to Den BKK. Love it. Nice. Yes, and you can yeah, you can send your itinerary to me. The next one will most definitely be September 2026. The next PMB experience, that is. Please don't ask me where. I cannot share that information just yet. But I hope to have that ready for you folks by the end of mid to late December. So in a month's time, for sure, as I wait for a few more confirmations. And if the confirmations don't come through, then we just have to wait till January. I'm just waiting to uh, finish the, get at least getting all the programming on paper by all the vendors and everything else before I can release that information. But I know for a fact that it's going to be September. So yeah, that's PMB experiences. And before September, we'll definitely have two or three of those PMB meetups and events that we do across Canada. So yeah, you'll have enough. Chris says early September. Yeah, Chris confirming that it'll be early September. We are working on two weekend options. One is to leverage the long weekend, the Labor Day long weekend. And if that doesn't work out in terms of pricing, it might be the weekend after. But I'm trying my best to see if we can squeeze that in for the Labor Day long weekend, so that for folks that are trying to make it out, they don't have to take too many days off, and you can actually leverage the 3 full days of vacation time, maybe get 1 day off for a Thursday or a Friday, whatever the case might be. But yeah, we'll confirm soon. But definitely early weekend, whichever it is, if it's Labor Day weekend or the one after. But yeah, that's what we're working on, and I'm just waiting for conversations have been had and whatnot. I'm just waiting for the vendors to confirm that we are a go before I can share the destination and details with you. What I can share with you, though, is we will be doing a Vancouver meetup. Again, not fully finalized on dates, but either end of January, the last Saturday of January, or maybe the first Saturday of February. So don't book anything I mean, if you want to book speculatively, you can. I mean, in terms of your flights and such, waiting for a couple of vendors to confirm as we still are comparing prices and such. So either 31st of January or 7th of February, those are the two dates we're working on. And this is again for Vancouver meetup. I said we'll do a full session on Black Friday deals, but oh boy, has it been so disappointing. There's not a single deal, and I say this, and maybe there's some that I don't know of that are super amazing. There's not a single deal which made me sit up and take notice, if you know what I mean. Uh, Everything is just super blah. Am I missing something? Is this still early for them to release? Because Black Friday is almost here. I mean, yeah, I'm not missing anything, says Denby. I don't know. I was kind of surprised. I was like, most years I at least have one or two of these things that show up, which I'm like, oh, I'm excited about this. But yeah, just nothing. 18x on eStore isn't bad. Anthony, which eStore, I mean, which company on eStore is doing? Oh, Amazon has 18x. Yeah, the 10x. I thought it was 10x and then Elite additional two. Is it stacking with a few other things? Is that what I'm missing? Dahlia says better this way. You have to save your money. Yeah, 100%. Dahlia, agreed. Agreed. Heather says it's like Boxing Day used to be lineup worthy deals. Then they expanded into Boxing Week. Then it merged into New Year's and diluted. So they have moved to Black Friday. Yeah. Yeah. Anthony is confirming the 18x is stacking with the premium credit card. Yeah. No, nothing really caught my attention. So made me think, do I even have anything worthwhile discussing on Black Friday deals in this session? And I thought I'll just revert it back to you folks. You tell me. Amazon one, yeah, on Aeroplan. I saw that. I didn't realize it could be up to 18x. Again, those are great because it's like category specific. It's not for everything. It's not on the new merchandise. Like it's not on new, say, Apple phones or iPads or things like that. So it's Amazon. So not everybody will be able to leverage it, but oh, Kevin says Black Friday is showing 18x for many vendors directly on the site. Yeah. But like I said, I know for a fact that I did read the release and Amazon is category specific. So it's not on everything that you get on Amazon. So you have to be sort of, specific about which categories would get you that. It's not store-wide 18x or store-wide 10x on everything to begin with. Let's talk about one of the bigger news items that hit my desk, not so much around Black Friday, but just as a loyalty program, which was obviously the major changes that were announced by Hilton. So Hilton Honors is going to go through a significant change in 2026 as they introduced a top tier status. So no longer is Diamond the coveted status. They've introduced a new Diamond Reserve tier as well, which will be above and beyond what Diamond has. Denby says new Diamond unattained. Yeah, no, there is something there. I mean, I think that's the progression where hotel programs will really have to make their top tier status truly something that you have to work hard for, truly something that you can aspire to be. And for those people that are spending real dollar time and getting value out of that group particularly. So it's not surprising to see that at least Hilton for now has taken that step ahead in making their top tier a, a little more coveted and typically geared towards the people that spend the most amount of sort of money and nights in their program. So what have they done? So basically, the good news is it's two-tiered news, for lack of sort of better explanation. Couple of the tracks, so gold members and diamond members, the qualification nights have been reduced. So gold has gone down from 40, requiring 40 nights to get gold status to 25 nights, which is amazing that it's come down by 15. And diamond has gone down from requiring 60 nights down to 50 nights. And the introduction of Diamond Reserve, Diamond for getting Diamond Reserve, you have to have 80 nights or 40 stays and 15,000 spent, or sorry, $18,000 spent, and the 18,000 is USD. But basically, yeah, slashed gold and diamond night requirements, and then Diamond Reserve is the big one that stays. The good news is none of the benefits that you get at each of those tiers, so silver, gold, diamond, have changed. So benefits remain unchanged. What they have done with the new Diamond Reserve, however, because they're expecting you to get sort of 80 nights or getting a combination with the spend, they're finally introducing a confirmable upgrade reward, or CUR as they're calling it. These confirmable upgrade rewards, you basically earn them when you hit the diamond tier status, and you can earn a second one when you hit 120 nights if you were doing as many as 120 nights, or 30,000 points, whichever you get to, you can get a second one. But basically, that confirmable upgrade reward or benefit is applicable to the higher end luxury hotels and resorts. So think Waldorf Astoria, Conrad Hotels, LXR Hotels, Signia by Hilton. Didn't even know. I'm just reading this out. I've never stayed at a Signia. And Nomad Hotels. Nomad was interesting that they put Nomad in that same category, but that's the luxury portfolio that Hilton defines its sort of hotels in. So those are the ones that you can use. And the CURs, or the confirmable upgrade rewards, can be used at the time of booking. So you don't have to wait to find out if you are going to get upgraded. It'll be done at the time of booking. And if it's available, you'll be able to use that for up to 7 nights. Each of them is good for up to 7 nights. So I think that one benefit in itself is a great value for those that are able to unlock the new Diamond Reserve tier, and comes closest to the World of Hyatt Globalist, where you earn these at various thresholds. You earn the suite upgrade awards at these thresholds, which can be used for up to, each of those can be used for up to 7 nights. I think the Globalist status, in my mind, is still the most coveted hotel status tier, even with this Diamond Reserve put in there. Because what else do you get with Diamond Reserve? You get the CURs, as we just explained. You get the guaranteed 4 p.m. late checkout. You get access to executive lounges and premium club. And you get the highest priority, of course, for upgrades, and 120% of your points on eligible stays. Those, again, are good to have, but other than the upgradable, the confirmable upgrades, there's not much there to sort of really look forward to. I wish they had brought in some kind of robust milestone system, kind of like Hyatt has. I guess I'm basically saying I wish Hilton was Hyatt. They're not. So I think Hyatt Globalist, if you really had to make a run for it, I would say Hyatt continues to be the program that you should make a run for top tier status if you're able to. But the good news is, I mean, is it good news? And maybe this is a question for you. Is it good news? Like, does it dilute your experience of the premium cards like an Aspire card, which now will still give you diamond status, which is not the highest tier? So maybe those of you that have the Aspire card, does this dilute your experience having that Aspire card in your wallets? Let me know. I would love to know what you are thinking about, because obviously it changes nothing in terms of the perks of the card, in terms of how valuable the card is, and everything you can get, except for the fact that no longer is the Aspire card. And all of these changes are starting January 1st, 2026. So starting 2026, the Aspire card is no longer giving you the highest status in that program. So yeah, let me know what you think of that. Oh, Denby confirming Condor was random. You said, what do we want to talk about? No, 100%. Uh, yeah, availability. And so Denby says this is what we should talk about, availability challenges to Southeast Asia. I think that'll continue. I just randomly looked up some flight options. I thought, oh, what if I had to make a last minute run during the Christmas to say India, what are we looking at these days? And everything on Aeroplan was listing close to like 500,000, like 500,000 points to get from, say, a Toronto to a Mumbai or Toronto to a Delhi during the holidays. But I think availability challenges for hot markets like India, Southeast Asia, and all of that will continue across the programs unless you are willing to book a full year out or as soon as these availability sort of drop in these programs. Um, for and like I've mentioned this before, Atmos is a great program to have in your wallet, but more and more I find Atmos's strength to be Condor, like you mentioned, NB. We've mentioned Porter being a great value in that program, and in my experience, Atmos is really shining for short haul to medium haul range. Um, think intra-Asia, intra-Europe, and things like that. That's where the value really spikes through. But at the same time, you can still book a lot of the aspirational products directly through Atmos program as well, as long as you can lock in the availability as soon as it drops, which oftentimes is a bit of a Hunger Games kind of experience. Um, for my predictability and such, and I've mentioned this before, I've been moving most of my Avios or Avion points instead of Avios to American, and I've also moved a chunk over to Cathay's Asia Miles as well. It transfers 1-to-1. Just because I find with Cathay prioritizing a lot of its own program for availability, at least on Cathay, it's become a little more easier for me to have that as a predictable option in my back pocket in case like a Aeroplan primary doesn't work out for me. And this is with Southeast Asia, or in my case, India, being prime examples in my travel itinerary. So yeah, Asia miles, yeah. And EVA are great currencies for availability. Yep, agreed. Just a couple more comments coming in, agreeing with that commentary. Alex says, except for some positioning flights, I don't think I've booked anything via Aeroplan in almost 2 years. Really? Hmm. I do continue to find Aeroplan to be very handy, but yeah, fully agree. I mean, with Aeroplan, it's more take what you get as opposed to trying to dictate what you want, and the availability is just all over the place. And as more and more sort of membership grows, more and more people understand the strengths of Aeroplan. They're all trying to use it. It's just, yeah, it's a good program. It's still a great program to have in your pocket just because it is primary, very easy to earn lots of points. Yes, it's dynamic, but I've said this before. Don't always look for floor pricing only, but just decide for yourselves that, you know what, if I don't get the absolute bare minimum pricing, what am I willing to pay for each of those zones and each of those regions? And in that case, you may find that, say, going to Australia, you might be, instead of getting the typical 80,000, 90,000 point availability, are you willing to pay, say, 100,000 or maybe 125,000 if you get availability through Aeroplan, be it on Air Canada or the other partners, say United, for example, which I've found. I've been able to get some cheap United tickets to Australia as well. Again, depending on when you go, if you're looking for now, which is Australian summer or New Zealand summer, it can be super expensive and difficult. But what I mean is, instead of constantly looking for static prices on partner awards, because those are becoming more and more hard to find on Aeroplan, and not because Aeroplan doesn't release them. Whatever comes up on Aeroplan gets snapped up so quickly by all of the people that are traveling themselves, that are booking for somebody else, that are doing a myriad of things using Aeroplan points. I feel like not I feel I've decided for myself my floor values for Aeroplan points have changed quite a bit. So say something like going to Bangkok, for example, I'm happy to pay 100,000 if I get something in 100, and we are talking business class, right? Not saying first class, 100,000 each way. I'm happy to pay Aeroplan 100,000 Aeroplan points each way rather than sort of getting frustrated with the program because I can't get something at a 75 or an 80 or whatever the case might be. Heck, for because I wanted to turn back and make my way back from Toulouse to Montreal, I paid 123,000 for that short 7-hour flight. Should everybody do it? No. But I think you really have to start putting some floor value. What I call floor value to your points is if I need to be home at a certain date at a certain time, or if I need to go somewhere at a certain time at a certain date, and I don't get this, what is the absolute floor value that I'm willing to pay? Maybe I won't get a 2.0 or a 3.0 kind of return on it. What is my floor value? And if your floor value for Aeroplan is say 2 cents, anything over that should be okay. Or maybe your floor value is 1.8 cents. And I don't know how you earn your points. In my case, some of the points I earn are much less than 1.8 cents. So maybe my floor value, I should be okay with 1.8 as well if I get a value of that kind in my redemption. I might be okay, but I'm saying that's the kind of thought process we all need to sort of develop, at least this community, because if we get too tied in and too frustrated with the need and finding availability at a certain price point, which is mostly published, not attainable at most times, then it's just a recipe for failure or recipe for frustration at the very least. So think floor value for each of those program. You need to decide. So everybody talks about what the value of a point is, but I think an important factor in that is how much did you earn that point for? If you're earning, again, caveat, I'm not saying you do this. I'm not saying this is the best way for you. I'm just saying, as an example, if you're earning Aeroplan at 1 cent a piece all the time, then maybe doing a redemption that's 1.5 cents per point is a great value. You don't have to worry about a 2 cent or 3 cent or a 4 cent kind of outsized value. Like, you know what I mean? So always determine how much are you earning these points at before deciding how much to use it for, right? Because bloggers, influencers, everybody would love to tell you that, oh, I value Aeroplan points at XYZ. Sure, but the key point is not the value. The key point is that they value it at that rate. You don't have to. That's just a benchmark for you to be like, you know what, if I had to be there, I want to be somewhere close to that. But your reality could be very different. And maybe the way you earn your Aeroplan points, you earn them at about 2 cents a piece. And then in that case, anything less than 2 cents a piece redemption, you're losing out. You're actually losing value and money on that deal. So maybe you don't want to do that. But I know for a fact that most of us in this community and in Canada are earning it for far less than 2 cents a piece. Some at 1.5, some at 1 cent, maybe others lower. I don't know. But you really need to understand and know how much you earn those points at before you can start deciding what your redemption value needs to be. Yeah, Denby says Aeroplan still strong for Mexico, Cancun, also good Asia, Europe, 100%. Super agree on that. For India, consider dual PNRs connecting in Europe. Yep, Denby, I've done a few of those where I just get myself to Europe and then get another one because oftentimes getting from Europe to India is a lot of times far better deals there than North America to India direct. So agreed, dual PNRs is another way of doing it. Alex says too many points out there in the public, and Air Canada Airplane does play games, and issues with phantom availability has been coming up. Yep, we've seen that too. Plus, finding really good award availability via other programs for Qatar, JAL, what's JX? Etihad, Singapore, Air France. Yeah, Starlux. Okay. Higher floor value is equal to inflation, says Denby. Aeroplan says we listen more choice. You're exactly right about the issue, says Denby. Yeah, it's just that floor value. I really feel strongly about that floor value, and the key piece of that, like I said, bears repeating, is just understand your earning rate as well before you make a decision as to what your redemption rate needs to be. Because if your earning rate is far, far lower than 2.0, then a 2.0 redemption is a great redemption for you. Jason and I were hawing and humming about spending 95K Avios plus 400 bucks for BA business from Toulouse to London to YYZ. But with the 30% transfer bonus from Avion, it was effectively 73K Avios, and it ended up being a good route home. 100% agreed. I think 95K Avios plus 400 bucks to be in British business for the time that you wanted to be back when you wanted to be back is a good one. And unfortunately, it's one thing to say, oh, you can hop over to Europe for 55K or whatever, unless you're finding the FlyingBlue promo bonuses. Not many other programs are giving you anything under 60, 70. And in most cases, 90,000 is basically where I've seen a lot of those transatlantic redemptions on good products. So you're not far off. And like you said, with the transfer bonus and whatnot, if you're sitting at about 73,000, that's a good one. It sounds, Heather says, it sounds to me like trying to convince yourself to be happy with less. Uh, sure, there's an element of that. Yeah, because if your only options are, I mean, I'm not saying, Alex, you meant that literally, but if your options are not going anywhere for 2 years because you haven't been able to redeem anything and be frustrated with your primary program where you're earning a bunch of those points, uh, but then learning how to value your things a little bit better based on how you earn them, yeah, there's a bit of an element of convincing yourself that it's okay to be happy with a 2.0 CPP redemption versus constantly wanting the 3, the 4, the 5, the 10 cent per point kind of redemption. Yeah, but there's some sanity to it as well, right? Um, but if you are, you know, uh, single-minded focus is to 5 cents a piece or over redemption only, of course you can do it. You just have to have a better game plan in that. Have some options, have a secondary couple of secondary programs, see what fits best, and work it that way, or move out completely and work in programs that are transferable, like we just spoke about Cat Asia Miles as a program as well, or Atmos program where you can do different things. Then yeah, we should. But the reality is we'll all have to look at our own numbers in a more critical way rather than just constantly working on what is the published value for something based on blogs or influencers. I love all of these analogies and criticism. So James says, Aeroplan, we took away chocolate cake, but we gave you 6 expensive Brussels sprouts, so you have more choice. Uh, Denby says for most travel, transfer Avion to AA is better value than transfer to BA, even with the 30% bonus. Yeah, I have to agree, Denby. And we've been saying this for a while now, because as much as everybody else wants to tell you that the 30% bonus transfer to British Airways Avios is great, um, it's, you know, it's how much money you want to put out, because your taxes are going to be higher, your redemption rates are definitely going to be higher. And if you're doing this for, kind of feel like I'm repeating this all over again, but for Qatar, because a lot of people are doing this for Qatar, getting getting the static pricing, or getting, what's the term I'm looking for, getting the published pricing on that and not the flexi points is becoming more difficult as that program gets more and more North American eyeballs and interest and points that convert into those programs. You're better off with American, or at least in my case has been the case. Looks like Denby is the same, where American gives you a little more value and predictability in its availability. Not that the dynamic nature of American doesn't do what the systems do, but there are enough partners that you're able to tab into with American's One World partnership. Alex says Aeroplan or Air Canada used to be my go-to, but over the last few years, I've not really booked at the program like I used to pre-COVID when Aeroplan 2.0 came out. Just seemed to find other options and jump on them and then build a trip around that. 100%. Also, you know what that reminds me? What has changed though is in any given single trip, I'm never using one currency. And I've noticed this post-COVID, uh, that I'm having to search a little bit more, but I'm also happy to use the resources that I have in terms of multiple currencies I have in different wallets. And I'm happy to use 2 to 3 currencies for me to get from point A to point B. Sometimes I'm going halfway with, you know, what's it called, FlyingBlue, and then switching over to Aeroplan from that, and then on my return trip using an American and coming back. So for me, using 2 to 3 currencies on each trip that I do, each round trip that I do, wherever that is become the norm. And I think that is the big, big change for me because pre-COVID, I would basically do one currency going one way, perhaps the same one coming back, or maybe just do another currency on the way back. But it was I can't think of a single time pre-COVID when I used more than 2 currencies. And since when I say COVID, I mean since 2022, once things opened back up and we really started seeing the inflation and how everybody was spending on luxury travel these days, I've been using, yeah, like I said, 2 to 3 currencies for every trip I do. I mean, just this crossing over to crossing across. Actually, no, this one was the one that I did single currency, but was looking at doing Air France KLM on the way to Toulouse, and then on the return, I had Aeroplan booked already. But then I was able to find the Swiss Air booking for cheap enough pricing that I pulled the trigger on that. But yeah, 2 to 3 currencies, and again, this comes with to Alex's statement. um, Finding more, finding better things outside of Aeroplan slash having access to those better things outside of Aeroplan has become very easy here in Canada, which has been a big welcome change, I suppose. Saver, yeah, thank you, Alex. Saver and Flexi. I kept thinking dynamic and static for whatever reason. Uh, Alex says, you're right about Qatar. It used to have consistent saver at near the end of calendar, but since 2024 and possibly 2023, things have changed. Heather is out. Thank you, Heather. Denby says 220K American gets 2 people, JAL F long haul. Show me equivalent in Avios or Aeroplan. To which Alex replies, I booked my mom and I North America to Doha to Singapore and JNF on Qatar for 190K Avios. But yes, AA is great and I have been using them as well. Got 500K in there at the moment. Yeah, that's a good redemption uh, from US to Doha to Singapore in JNF combination. 190K, yeah. I've spoken about this. We did a similar one to Doha on to Bangkok, about that 180, 190, 190K last year, and we'll likely do it again later this year or next year, 2026, back to Bangkok for an event. Denby says, friend in Hong Kong always have to do 2 bookings, usually Amsterdam connection. Yeah. Don't know how we got here because we were talking, I'm looking at my notes and we were talking about Hilton Honors. And somehow we've ended up talking really, oh, it's not, oh, Denby, yes, it is your fault. Yes, now it's coming back. It's the Asia, talking about Asia availability. No, it's good. Great topic. And I'm glad you brought it up because this is how we sort of, our brains work. You hear one thing. So you know what? Imagine this kind of chat for 3 straight days because every meal, every coffee, breakfast, lunch, dinner, we just sat in a group like this in Toulouse and just riffed about our experiences, riffed about what the possibilities could be. I heard this from this group. What did you? Just great. Oh, I'm not rubbing it in, but I really, that to me, because everybody keeps asking, right? Oh, how was it? What was the best thing? And it's just really difficult to explain that because when I posted a bunch of those stories, I got and I mean lot from my account. I think I may have answered 20 plus responses in my DMs about how was it, what were you guys doing there, to everything. It's very difficult to explain beyond what was on paper as to the real value of that kind of trip. It was basically, when I thought of it after responding to everybody, I couldn't help but think of, when you were in high school or any schooling system where it allows you like those immersion trips that you do. It was like that. It was like a points immersion trip. You went in there. And you were there with 20 other like-minded people, and that's all they wanted to talk about. And by that, I mean not just all that they want to talk about, but that was the primary focus of everything. AvGeek thrown in there because we were in Toulouse. We were constantly looking up in the sky at something or the other because plane spotting, perfect plane spotting, spots across the city. Um, so yeah, just these conversations which you didn't know where it started off, and I mean 2 hours later we'd be like, why did we talk about this? And so good stuff. Fellowship is the value, 100%. And right. I kind of mentioned earlier at some prompts about Vancouver meetup coming out. So with Vancouver meetup, I did this last year. So Stay Vancouver promotion is on right now. So November 14th to March 31st. So minimum 2 night stays, and you can get up to $250. This is a well-known promotion. Fantastic way of getting cheaper stays in Vancouver. Vancouver downtown hotels can be super expensive. So this is a great way of doing this. Um, Not sure if Richmond and what's the other one? The Edmonton ones are back as well, but Vancouver, the Stay Vancouver promotion is definitely back. If you are thinking about coming down to Vancouver for the meetup, or if you're going to be in Vancouver in that window of now to March 31st, make sure you leverage your Stay Vancouver promotions. So stayvancouver.com, I think, and then from there you simply search and execute. You can the offers are anywhere but from 125 or 100 bucks all the way through to $250. And don't do what I did. If my wallet was within reach, I would have shown you. I received my $250 gift card the last time, and instead of using it right there, I thought, oh, I'll just put everything on my credit card because I wanted all of the points. So I took the gift card, the MasterCard, and I kept it in my wallet. That thing is still sitting in my wallet, and I've barely used maybe 100 bucks out of it. So if you head to Vancouver and get those gift cards, like right away at check-in, tell them you want to add it to your stay then and there. And that's the best use, unless you're better than me in managing gift cards in your wallets. Then, of course, you also have the option of keeping it in your wallet and using it for other things you want to do. But these are straight gift cards. Don't lose them because there's no chip and pin or anything like that on them. So you want to be able to, yeah, give it to others, sure. But I've used some random amounts. I don't even know exactly what my balance is. I just know the last time I checked, which was a couple of months ago, there was still close to 200 bucks in there, or slightly less than 200 bucks in there. So gifting it to someone, at least I should know how much is in there. I'd be like, hey, here's 200 bucks. And then they're like, oh, by the way, there's only 186 and 14 cents. Like, you know what I mean? So it was a nice round number. I would love to gift it to someone, but oh well, I'm not giving away $200. That's not what I'm saying. I'll use it, but I just need to remember to use it because now it just sits in the wallet, and it has sat in that wallet for almost a full year now. Use it on Amazon order. Yeah, 100%. I should actually, Uber is a good one. Uber eats more than Amazon orders, but I should definitely add that in there and get it done with. Air Canada fleet upgrade. Air Canada earlier today announced a comprehensive fleet upgrade for North America, which was fantastic and which included sort of, all of the Rouge flights. The Airbuses in Rouge will be transitioned eventually in 2026 through to the 737 MAX aircraft, which will have the newer configuration. And eventually, all the A320s and A321s that are being utilized by Rouge right now will also have the newer interior and then be brought back into mainline. And the entire idea of doing this is obviously to bring predictability in the fleet, predictability in the travel experience across North America. And I couldn't be happier because, like I mentioned in the comment there, I just hate walking into or booking an itinerary and not knowing what kind of cabin I would get. And of course, these fleet upgrades can take multiple years to come through, but at least it has started. So in the next couple of years, we can hope that whatever percentage of fleet upgrade happens will happen. And super happy about Rouge as well, because not a big fan of the current setup in the Rouge flights. But once the 737s are enough 737s transition over into the Rouge operations, going to sun destinations on a 737 MAX is a far better experience than being on Rouge, particularly for those of us who like to travel in the cabin up front. So that should be a much better way of experiencing that. And to that point, Jake said, "Hey, it's great that they're bringing more consistency with the mainline operations, but then why does Rouge need to exist?" And I don't know. That was a great question. It equally impressed me and stumped me, and I was like, "You are right. Why? What is the purpose of Rouge if everything is going to sort of over time equalize and sort of feel and the experience will be elevated and felt there'll be consistency in that experience across North America. So then what is the role of Rouge in that lineup of things?" So yeah, exactly. Denby says the Rouge exists for labor contracts. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's some kind of contractual obligations, or maybe in the next couple of years, once the fleet upgrade sort of comes through, we might hear some news about sunsetting Rouge. I don't know. Just thinking out loud. But yeah, great question by Jake, and I'll definitely try and seek some answers to. Uh, Last but not least, cognizant of time, we're slightly over. Read this on 1 Mile at a Time, and Ben wrote a post about Air France, KLM, or Flying Blue, their program, has now implemented preferred pricing for Platinum members directly in the system. And they shared Ben shared screenshots of the preferred pricing at almost 50% different for Platinum members versus non-elite members. Um, I forget what route Ben was comparing, but the difference was 60,000 for Platinum Elite members, and that same route, same flight for non-elite members was close to 140 or something, 140 odd, which was crazy. So yeah, if this is the kind of preferred pricing that Flying Blue can implement, I sure as hell hope Aeroplan folks are seeing what's happening around them and will be able to bring this level of preferred pricing, because that reminded me that we haven't seen much. Aeroplan executives have come here and mentioned that they're working on these preferred pricing. They've sold a lot of the premium cards on this concept of preferred pricing as well as one of the benefits, but we haven't really seen uh, consistent good value in these preferred pricing models in Aeroplans. I wonder what's happening there. Maybe that's something we should touch base with them again and see if Aeroplan is thinking of doing that. But if elite members, say 50K, 75K, or even if it's for 100K members, if they could add a consistent 20% difference in redemptions for top tier members and non-elites, that makes for a great way of making that particular tier level aspirational within the program itself. Then I can see a few more 50Ks and a few more 75Ks trying to make a run for 100K, or whatever the case might be. But the preferred pricing piece still is yet to materialize with Aeroplan the way we all thought it would. So let's wait and see. But the good news is Air France, KLM, Flying Blue, that benefit or that particular preferred pricing model is now very much part of the program, and it is active and running. So make sure. I mean, if you are going to say status match to Air France, KLM, the status match is now open for Canadians. Remember a few weeks ago, and you could status match your 75K or 100K Aeroplan membership to the Platinum status. Now, this really makes it worthwhile for 75K and 100K members to pay that additional $500 and status match themselves to Platinum Elite, so that their next few redemptions can really see value better than being a non-elite member. For example, the way I am. I have lots of points, but I'm a non-elite Flying Blue member. So with that, let's close this one out. Have a lovely weekend, folks, or weekend coming up. Have a lovely Friday and onwards. Won't be around next weekend. I'm away, but I'll catch up with you folks first weekend in December.